You see here, hi guys. Well, it's a bit of a lunch vlog. A picture of my shamrock. That's just to wish all of you happy St. Patrick's Day. I know there's a lot of Irish descent here and there around the world, and this is going to introduce actually my vlog today, which is something to do with community spirit, which is a reply to the SpookyUniversity Alumni. Now, talking about community spirit, the fact is that I think it's quite appropriate to do this on St. Patrick's Day, because it's interesting to see that an island which had actually a relatively, I would say, small population now actually has members all over the world, and or at least descendants, citizens all over the world, which actually surpassed by far the number of people in the country itself. Now, we all know how big the St. Patrick Day party, I would say, yeah, party is probably right, but St. Patrick Day really is all over the world. How many parties and parades and so on. Now, just to jump though really into the subject, is that how does one consider that community spirit has probably evolved over time? I have been going through actually a lot of old archive documents, archive newspapers actually. You've probably seen one. I made one vid actually where I looked at some really old newspapers. But one of the reasons I was going through that was it was old newspapers, a newspaper called the Granby Leader Mail. So it's from the region around my hometown. And I was actually very impressed to see all the comments, or actually the articles relating to my relatives, to my grandmother, amongst others, grandmother, grandfather, where they were involved in the Temperance League. Well, they'd have problems with me, I guess, wouldn't they? But, you know, the Farm Forum, the Women's Institute, the Rebecca Lodge, the Odds Fellow, I think it was called, and so on and so on. We're talking here, the papers I was looking were like in the late 50s, something like that. And the number of, I would say, suppers, you know, turkey suppers and so on, chicken pot pies and so on. These type of things. Loads of things like that were going on at the time. And it seems that even though there was no internet, there was a lot less, I would say, communication as far as we know it. I mean, television was not a common thing, or I mean, not that common then. So we were talking about radio, but when we're talking about on the local level, it was really important, of course, to, if you wanted something to be done, that the community talked to each other and was bound. Now, has this changed a lot today? Well, if I'm looking when I was, not quite today, when I was a student, so that's already 25 years, 30 years ago now, there was still a bit of that in the villages, less in the cities, it's true. And could it be that one of the reasons for that, I don't know, I mean, I'm just thinking aloud here, is that there's been probably less involvement of, we say, it doesn't have to be church groups, but I mean voluntary groups that would help. Very often they came from churches, but not only. Voluntary groups, you know, to help society and so on. And these were very often quite big in the villages. Maybe, I don't know. If I fast forward to Switzerland, where I am now, effectively one sees that the villages still have quite a few of the, I would say, musical groups, things like that, choirs, There's very many village choirs and so on that are very strong, I would say, on the promoting community spirit. We see this in the middle-sized towns as well. And then it kind of boils down in the cities. Maybe it depends on your neighborhood. If the neighborhood is more or less homogeneous, that's a politically correct way of stating something, but I'm being very careful here. If the neighborhood is more or less homogeneous, then you will see that there are more or less, I would say, groups of a community character. So overall, it seems that yes, I mean, the fact of moving away from, I would say, from a rural background to a city tends, at least I find, tends to limit definitely the amount of community spirit. I mean, we live in a medium-sized city, and I have to say that aside from saying hello and having small chats, I don't know my neighbors all that well. We've got a very good circle of friends, which are not actually our neighbors and don't even live in the same community anymore than we do. So, you know, there's different type of circles and communities that are being created. I think that actually today, probably in today's world, it is more important to have maybe less people, but there is more quality in the circle around you. Because, yeah, I mean, we probably, as we've spoken in earlier vids, I mean, about the work ethics and so on, there's a lot less time to do these things. And if there's less time, I mean, you can't have such a big circle. Was it, who was saying that? Was it the Blue Flamingo or somebody else was saying that the number of friends, I'm sorry, I don't remember who said it actually, but the number of friends that somebody can have is something like, you know, around 100 or something like that, which seems to me already quite a big number if you're going to talk about, I mean, close friends. Yeah, so if I really think about it in this respect, is that it does seem that there's a change in the community spirit. There's the question of us living in cities, having jobs that give us a lot less time for all of this. So that, of course, makes a difference. One of the other things, though, that comes up that will actually change what is going on in community spirit as well is the amount of time, I think this the Blue Flamingo did say, is the amount of time that is going into getting to and from your workplace. Now, if you take myself with a very, very long commute, it's very difficult to do anything in that respect. I mean, I was actually a church warden, or some people would call it an elder, in our church for 4 years. And that took a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it was difficult, you know, to maintain actually the level. That's I'm beside a railroad, and that's actually the trains are going off. To maintain an effort that would, you know, be worthwhile. Geez, the time is going on again. I gotta hurry up and wrap this up. Okay, so I will have to get actually to one point, and that is the internet. It's the fact that we can't move around as much and so on makes it the internet is definitely helping us to create another type of community spirit, which is completely different from what we've known before, because the people are not beside us, but we are communicating, we are actually sharing and helping each other in a completely different manner. Well, that's my take for the moment. I can really see the minutes going on, and I'm always going over 10 minutes lately. So I'm going to have to sign off. I'm not quite satisfied with this reply, but I'm certain that you can, you know, add something onto it, which will make it even more complete. So this is going to be DC signing off. Take care, and again, have a nice St. Patrick's Day.